This is Tackle Talk Live, an inside scoop on how, when, and where to catch bass, with a primary focus on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Interviews with anglers who are consistent winners on the tournament trail. Your hosts, Camus Boats Pro staffer Steve Graff and Gill Fishing accounts manager Kevin Jean. Two anglers who understand bass fishing with tournament success on all levels. Anglers willing to share their knowledge to help you become a better fisherman. So sit up and pay close attention as they give detailed tournament information and results. Here are the hosts of Tackle Talk Live, Steve Graff and Kevin Jean.
Let's kick off 2025 with Tackle Talk Live. That's right. It's that time again, folks. We are so happy to be back with you. I'm Diver Pro staffer Steve Graff, along with Territory Manager for Sport Co-Marketing and an excellent angler in his own right, my good friend, my partner in crime, Kevin Jean. Kevin, man, Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year, Steve. Not a better way to start it off than the 6th season of Tackle Talk Live. Sounds weird to say, Steve, but 6 years now we've been doing this, and man, it's been a great ride. Enjoying doing it, and I'm glad to be back.
Well, I remember me and you talking on the phone one time. You said, I said, what is this, our 4th year? And you said, no, it'll be our 6th. I was like, what? Yeah. I just couldn't believe it had been that long. You know, you're just like, wow.
And I feel like I keep jumping every new season we come back on the past 3 years. I have a new job title, and I've ever since we've sold V&M, I've been trying to kind of find my right fit. And Steve, I have found it. Sport Co-Marketing, basically. So I am the Shimano rep for the Louisiana region and for East Texas. Also the Gill representative. I'm no longer with Gill anymore. My rep group does work with Gill, so I am selling Gill. I'm just not in the office every day with them. Steve, doing what I love to do. I love to get out. In stores with dealers and work with dealers instead of just, doing office work every day. So back to doing what I like to do, representing some great brands like Shimano, Gill, and some others, so really enjoying what I'm able to do right now.
Well, it's proof and testament, Kevin, to the job you've done before with V&M and where you took that company and how you developed and continued to increase sales with that company during your time as president there. Sport Co-Marketing got a good one, is all I can tell them, and they're lucky to land you and have you on board. And so congratulations on your new job. And
thanks, sir.
Looking forward to seeing how all that works out. So,
yes,
Kevin, today, tell us who our guest is today.
Steve, one of the hottest sticks on Sam Rayburn, Shane Campbell, won multiple tournaments in the fall, winter over there. January, Sam Rayburn is the month for Sam Rayburn. That's when it kicks off down here. All the big tournaments on Sam Rayburn. There is one BFL in January on Toledo Bend we'll get to later on. But this weekend, the BFL starts off on Sam Rayburn. Next weekend, the Fishers of Men, SETX High School. Then the weekend after that, I think we have the Outlaw Team Series. Well, Outlaw Team Series is next weekend on Sunday. You got Bass Champs. I mean, it's every weekend on Sam Rayburn. So not a better way to kick it off than one of the hottest sticks on Sam Rayburn right now with Shane Campbell.
Kevin, I don't want to go into negative net here, but, we got some bad news in the fall with the cancellation of the Brandon Belt Tour. What your thoughts on that?
That one caught me off guard, Steve. I'm not going to lie. And I'm in the industry. I'm working every day. I'm not fishing nowhere near like I used to, but I'm in the industry and working every day. That one caught me off guard. Did not see that one coming. I hate it for those guys. I know all those guys, and we've had Ryan Williams, tournament director, on several times here, and I've talked to Brandon several times, and it's that was a Brandon decision, just with everything he has going on right now. It was bad timing, I think. I hate to see it, man. It was a great tournament, great payout, of course. Hate to see it happen, but it's business, Steve, and sometimes it's just not the right timing.
Well, Kevin, we said in the beginning when there was the big three, the Texas Team Trail, Bass Champs, and Brandon Belt, we all felt like which one was going to suffer.
Well, you got Outlaw now. They've done put through their hat in the ring and they've been in it for a long time, but it's right. One of the big dogs now. Fishers of Men is back at it with Mr. Dick Polk, at the helm of that thing. So, you've got so many now that are competing for that position. And look, Brandon Belt was doing as good as any of them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But that was what he was trying to do, cover the entire state, to run a tournament organization at that level with that amount of money. That is hard to do. And they were doing a good job at it. Yeah. But the time it takes to do that, and especially with Brandon being gone so much, and again, I don't know the full reason why, and I'm not going to jump into that, but that is tough to do what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Well, one thing I hope they will continue to do, maybe do some specialty tournaments, 1 or 2 a year, try to bring that back, because the ones they had were very successful. And then, of course, and then they came out with their team trail, which was also, I thought was definitely on the right path, but evidently it wasn't. So
well, and Steve, Shane, when we get Shane on, this is going to be a great question for him. Shane was very close with that group. Him and his partner Wyatt Frankins. Wyatt was on their pro staff team. They won the Bass Cat Team of the Year last year, won a brand new Bass Cat boat from Brandon Belt. So that's going to be a great question to jump into with Shane as well.
All right. And we're going to visit with Shane Campbell here in just a minute. We've got lake reports. And matter of fact, we're going to this season, I'm actually adding Lake of the Pines, because there's a lot of events going to Lake of the Pines now. A lot of guys are fishing over there. I know my first event at the end of February is on Lake of the Pines. So we're going to add Lake of the Pines, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend. We'll make sure we keep you up to date on the lake levels and what's going on at those 2 bodies of water. And again, we're kicking off the Cowboy Division BFL. We're going to get with Shane Campbell. We got all this and much more upcoming events for the month of January on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. But first, we're going to take a quick break and step back for just a minute as we say thank you to all of our sponsors for 2025. Those that have come on board, we in this case say thank you enough. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Tackle Talk Live.
A good marine dealer is hard to find, but a great dealer is even harder. But in Iowa, Louisiana, there's a marine dealer that falls into the great category. Power Implements Marine, South Louisiana's go-to dealer for all things related to the boating industry. A Minn Kota, Garmin, and Mercury dealer, guaranteeing you first-rate service in both sales and repair. A great selection of new and used boats to choose from, including Skeeter, G3, Ranger, Camus, and Go Devil. A knowledgeable staff that will treat you like family and are always willing to go the extra mile to ensure you walk out a happy customer. To see everything they have to offer, go to powerimplements.com or stop by 606 East Miller Street in Iowa, Louisiana. Plus, mention Tackle Talk Live and save $500 off a new or pre-owned boat, or $50 off your first service ticket. Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Nothing is worse than being sick on your family or fishing getaway. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in the hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or call 318-508-5323. Very few stores are a complete one-stop shop, but Cypress Knee Outdoors is such a place. A store within a store. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's Four-Way. Whether you need gas, food, drinks, or bait and tackle, they have it. Cypress Knee Outdoors carries top-name fishing brands like Strike King, Sandtone, Spro, and V&M. Crappie jigs from Bobby Garland. Need hunting gear? They have it. Ammunition from rifle to shotgun shells. Deer scents from Buck Wild and Doe and Heat. Deer stands from Titan and feeders from T-Hanger. Cypress Knee has it all. Located off I-49, exit 127, just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana. So stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors and let John Abram and his staff show you everything they have to offer. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
This is Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning us in. Oh, and by the way, spread the word that we're back. Let everybody know Tackle Talk Live is back for our 6th season. and trying to educate and keep you up to date on what all's going on in these area lakes like Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, and again, Lake of the Pines. We'll throw it in there once in a while. So, hey, again, we appreciate each and every one of y'all. We try to give you good information, accurate information, especially with the kind of guests we got on today with Shane Campbell. This segment presented by Keys Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, and Power Implements Marine, located right there in Iowa, Louisiana. Mention Tackle Talk Live and get a $500 off with the purchase of a new or used boat, or you can get $50 off your first service ticket. But you got to tell them you heard it on Tackle Talk Live. On the Tackle Talk Live hotline, we've got Sam Rayburn Pro Shane Campbell. And Shane, welcome to the program, man. We're kicking off 2025 with one of the best that we could ever ask for on Sam Rayburn, and we appreciate you taking time to be with us, and Happy New Year, bud.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys, too. Thanks for having me on.
Shane, before we jump into fishing and Sam Rayburn, how it's going, I want to kind of get your opinion here. I know you were really close with the Brandon Belt guys. I know Wyatt was sponsored by them. You guys won, I think, Bass Cat Angler of the Year last year. Man, hate to see that, that organization not doing the tournament trail this year. I mean, give us kind of your input, your insight here on say what happened, but why did we come to this conclusion? Why is Brandon Belt not going forward?
It's tough to speak for him, but I was, and still am friends with those guys, and it was a great trail, and it was a growing trail. But yeah. It's tournament numbers are down overall. I mean, they were kind of trying to grow their thing on a high end scale, and it's just it's a tough one to run, man. It costs a lot of money to put on a tournament like that. I know Brandon was super generous, and he kind of went all in, pushed all his chips in with that, and did a great job, had a great setup, and spent a lot of money, and had probably the best payout we've ever seen as far as a high stakes team trail goes. And I think it was just I don't think it was profitable per se, and that's a tough one to swallow. And he wanted to grow, and the sponsorship dollars are down overall in our industry.
Well, I think too, Shane, it's man, doing what he was trying to do, and look, and he's in the middle playing ball, but to do it and cover the entire state like he was trying to do, like they were trying to do, and grow. It is hard to grow a team trail and to start one from scratch right now with all we have going on. Like you said, tournament numbers are down, and to do it the whole state, man, it was hats off to them because they were doing a hell of a job, and they were putting it all out there. But man, that's hard to do.
It's extremely hard to do, and they really wanted to have high payouts, and it's just tough to get one off the ground and going. And they did a great job, and he was really just wanted to give back to the anglers and offer a high stakes payout to guys at the amateur level, and anybody could fish it. It was an open tournament, so it's a shame, man. We're really going to miss it. We enjoyed fishing it. The schedule looked great, but I don't think we've seen the end of them. They may come back, regroup, and come back.
Shane, it's also a case of probably just simple math. If you put a pencil to it and look at the payout versus the number of entries that were coming in,
he's got to have more entries.
That wasn't balancing out at all. I mean,
100%. No, he was, like I said, the payout was super generous, and he was definitely paying out more than he was taking in, and
yeah.
Just not a sustainable business model. And the reality is, a tournament organization is a business. So it's got to be profitable a little bit.
Well, Shane, let's jump into Sam Rayburn. I mean, you and Wyatt had a huge starting of winter, winning a bunch of big tournaments over there, and did it all of last year. You guys had a great year. Man, January's here. It's kicking off. All the big tournaments kicking off. BFL this weekend. Just kind of give us a little preview how Sam Rayburn's fishing right now, what the lake looks like, what the lake's doing. Just kind of break down Sam Rayburn for us.
Sure. Well, January, we start off fast. I mean, you know how it is in this neck of the woods. I mean, January is always a BFL. Then we got a high school tournament with an outlaw next weekend, then champs, and then a Toyota series. And it's just triple T. It's one after another. There's a lot of big tournaments in January and February. And overall, Rayburn's fishing really good. I mean, there's lots of big schools offshore. You can catch a ton of numbers and some size. We're starting to see some groups of those big pre-spawn females. I know pre-spawn's a little early to talk about that. We're kind of in our winter months, but they do start grouping up. Those big ones do, and I expect Rayburn to kick out big bags again. Now we've caught a lot of rain, so the lake's on the rise. I think it's come up about 1.5 feet. That's dirtied up some areas of the lake. Unfortunately, the grass isn't where we normally like it on Rayburn. It's, all the fluctuating water levels this year kind of hurt the grass and knocked it back, but there's still grass to be fished out there. So I expect big things from BFL.
Shane, with water temperature, that's one of the triggering mechanisms for these bass to come in and the big females come in and spawn. We really hadn't had much winter, if hardly any at all, up to this point. Do you foresee an early spawn this year if things don't change?
I lean more on the length of day. For me, I know water temperature is a very important variable, obviously, but you're right. We have had a mild fall/winter so far, and water temps are just now getting down in those winter, mid-50 ranges. But I don't know about an early spawn. I think length of day is probably, in my opinion, that's usually the most important factor. Is they know just by length of day, hey, it's time to get up there and spawn, and that's assuming the water temperature is within their range. But I think the spawn will go off like it normally does.
Shane, there's a lot of things playing right now, like y'all both just alluded to. It's still very mild. I mean, it's still very warm. Let's just be honest. There's a lot of things playing. There's a lot of things playing at Sam Rayburn right now. What I'm hearing, there is a little bit of grass, Five Fingers, Vicha area. There is a little bit of a trap bite. I'm hearing. There's some ditches. There's some drains playing, some offshore stuff, some brush pile fish, and then you have your scoping fish. What I'm hearing and what I'm understanding is I think there could possibly be a check at each of those levels if guys get on the right set of fish. I mean, is that what you're hearing, kind of seeing everything's playing as long as you find the right group?
I think so, 100%. I mean, it's Rayburn fish tend to follow rising water no matter what, even though there's not a ton of grass. So I think some shallow guys will do well in this, and you'll see some good bags come out of the grass, like you said. There's not a lot of it. May have to share some water with some guys, but like you said, the right guys laying in the right spots are going to do well. I think shallow and deep.
Well, you just alluded to it. The lake's come up 10 inches in 10 days. But it's still like 1.3 feet low. But it's probably enough water to kind of get up in some of those that new growth off the bank when the lake was low. Can a guy go shallow on Rayburn? Can he win it right now doing that?
I don't think you can win it right now, shallow. The majority of fish are offshore, and I've been seeing some really good schools, both large ones and, just overall numbers. I think it's going to be one out deep. Yeah.
Steve's just praying. He's trying to pray that water on up in them bushes so he can go flip in a bush, Shane. That's all.
You're not far from it, Steve. You're not far from it. Get a little more water. Rayburn fish love the bushes.
Yeah.
Shane, scoping. We know it's going to be a player. We know it can very easily be one doing that. It can be one doing a lot of other things right now as well. But as far as scoping goes, I mean, how hard is it to get 5 of the right bites doing that right now?
If you're going after five big ones, just scoping, it's pretty tough. I've noticed over the last couple of years, these fish are getting wise to us, fishing for them, these nomadic, just fish throwing a minnow or drop shot or jig or whatever you're throwing to them. Used to, you'd catch probably 80% of the ones you throw at, and now it feels like it's more like 10 or 20%. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, and, I hate to not trying to discourage anybody from doing it, but it is a very powerful tool, and guys, it'll probably be one doing that, if I had to be honest. But I think you can use
it'll be one. It is the ultimate. It is the ultimate hero or zero right now. Would you agree?
100%. If a guy commits to just scoping certain areas or figures out a certain depth where these big ones are and just targeting giants and not throwing at every fish they see, it's a hero zero. You could see some guys come in with 2 really big ones and struggle to fill the limit.
Well, Shane, another thing too, and we've already mentioned it, the trap bite, the trap bite, Rayburn red, the red traps are coming in, fixing to come into play if they're probably already into play. I heard guys catch them in the fall on the red trap. What about a jerk bait? Is a jerk bait, could that be a very productive bait for this first tournament?
I think so, 100%. Both scoping and not scoping with it. Just traditional jerkbait fishing down, throwing a jerkbait down the middle of a drain. We've got this cold front that came through and knocking the water temperature down. We're gonna have cool nights all the way up to the BFL. It's 100% gonna be a player.
Yeah.
What water depth, Shane, are you seeing is the most productive right now? We're sitting here talking, everything's gonna play if you find the right group, and it will. From trapping to drains to brush piles to out deep. But what water depth are you seeing the largest quantity of fish, or maybe the larger sizes of fish?
Ooh, boy, that's a tough one because, with rising water, there's something about Rayburn fish they just love, even when it's cold, they love to follow the water up. So don't be surprised to hear of guys catching 9-10 pounders in a foot of water on a trap in that fresh water that's up on the bank. But overall, to catch your odds of catching a school of large ones, I think the depth is, you need to be looking in more of that 12 to 20 foot range. And I have seen some schools out deeper, but they tend to be just numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And you're not fishing BFL this weekend, you said?
No, I'm going to sit this one out. Got a lot going on this weekend.
So if you were fishing it, 3 rods on the deck, what's tied on those 3 rods?
Oh,
I'll give you 4 if you need 4. I mean, it's that time of year. Look, we've been doing this 6 years. You can go back and look at all 6 years. The first couple weekend winners, most time it's the deep diving crankbait, it's the Carolina rig, and it's the football jig. Then you got the rattle trap and you got the chatterbait. I mean, that is typical Sam Rayburn January fishing. You can go back and look at the last 6 years worth of shows and see that's what it is this time of year. I mean, would you agree? Is that something you still have to have on the front deck?
100%. I'm no secret that I like to fish offshore. It's Sam Rayburn. If you don't have a Carolina rig on your deck, I don't know what you're doing out there. I mean, I have one to throw it in a foot of water to 30 foot of water. We use it. I have a 1 ounce Carolina rig rigged up 365 days a year when I fish Rayburn. So that's gonna be my first pick. Probably a flush or a hog walleye on the back of that. Then a crankbait. Like you said, deep diving crankbait. Crankbait catches big fish. So, if I see them schooled up, that's usually it's Carolina rig or crankbait when I'm picking up first to run through them. Third pick, you got to go a minnow style bait. You got to go the ball head with a big minnow. 6 inch just came out with a new one, an Aussie. It's been a big player. 4-inch bait, about the size of the thread fin out there right now. That's going to be a huge player. Scoping with a minnow. Then I'd probably say a jig. Old school football jig.
Yeah. Yep, that's kind of where I've seen you go, and I figured that you would go that route with that selection. It's typical Rayburn right now. No, it's not cold like it normally is, but again, by what I'm hearing, I haven't been able to be out there, but it's just typical Sam Rayburn fishing right now. With the water coming up, they're doing what they've always have done. So, that's kind of how it seems to be playing out.
100%.
Shane, I want to go a different direction with you real quick before we let you go. Co-anglers. BAS has made the announcement the Open Series co-anglers will no longer be welcome. We're basically down to Toyotas and BFLs. Nobody else is offering co-anglers any other opportunities. Your thoughts on that? I mean, I know you fish the pro side and you understand the positives, but there's also some negatives. Does this open a door for guys to maybe skirt the rules a little bit? Well, that was a big topic in 2024, guys bending rules. Let's just say it, cheating. Your thoughts on eliminating co-anglers?
Oh, man, being co-angler is a great opportunity to learn. And, it's definitely something, numbers have been down, and it's no secret it's because of forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
It's tough to fish as a co-angler behind somebody that's going to, chase around nomadic fish all day. But you can still learn from those guys. I'm kind of torn on it because I fished on the pro side of the Bassmaster Opens a couple years ago. And what they were seeing is bass is unique to MLF in the fact that Bassmaster will allow a boater or pro to go out without a co-angler. And the problem with that they were having with not having the same number of co-anglers and boaters is the draw wasn't always even. I'll give you an example. We were rooming with 3 of us, and one of our roommates in every open, he would have a co-angler almost both days, whereas myself and the other guy I was traveling with maybe didn't get a co-angler at all. So in the effort of fairness, keeping that in mind, I think they just felt like some guys were voicing their opinion that it wasn't exactly fair for some guys to not have co-anglers one day while the other guy had them both days. So I think that's why they made that decision.
Yeah.
I think it stinks for the co-anglers because there's a lot of great fishermen that fish the opens, and there was some opportunity to learn from those guys, but numbers are down. So they made the decision to cut it. We'll see how it goes.
Well, and you look at this weekend, the BFL supposedly is way down on co-anglers compared to, pros in the boat for this weekend. I'm hearing they have a major shortage for co-anglers this weekend.
Yeah, they do. I think last I heard rumor was like 15. They're 15 short. I'd encourage you if you want to learn. I mean, the BFL is a great place to start. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and you can get a good draw. Rayburn's a great place to be a co-angler because there's so much talent out here and so many really, really good fishermen you can get paired with.
And the difference is, guys, with BASS letting their guys go out singles, BFLs, they're going to pair you up with another boater. And I've been in that boat before on my home body of water, Red River. Probably cost me a win. I came in third, and I didn't go to my best 2 holes because I had a guy with me that I didn't want him to know more of my good stuff was. And he was a boater. And I'm like, I'm not showing this guy. And so I don't like the boater on boater. I hate that. That's one of the reasons I kind of quit
fishing. Are they still doing that? Shane, do you know, are they still doing that?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
I'm not sure if they have. I haven't fished a BFL. I didn't fish one last year either. I don't know if they still do it or not, but I'm with you, Steve. I'm not a fan of it if they are still doing it.
No, they're still doing it. They're not. I talked to Mark McWaw this past week, and we texted back and forth, and they're still doing it. They're not allowing guys to go out by themselves.
I've been there and seen guys turn around and walk away and not fish because they got paired boater on boater. And I agree, I wouldn't have done it either. I mean, just completely said, well, I'm not fishing, right. And then they lose 2 boaters from fishing because of that.
Right. Yeah.
I do think MLF would have their numbers would go up, their entries, if they would allow boaters, to go out without a co-angler. But like you said, it does open the door for cheating. But I think that's a small part of our sport that you just got to trust the organization that you're fishing with is doing everything they can to uphold the rules.
And you got to trust the other anglers you're fishing against are quality people that aren't looking to do that. That's the problem.
It's not a big problem, but it definitely, I'm not going to say it never happens.
No, that's right.
Well, and there's just so much money out there, with the cost of fishing nowadays, and from the boats to the rigs to all the Garmins and everything else that we put on it, to the entry fees, gas, and so on and so forth. There's so much money out there nowadays, doing that. But Steve, on completely switching topics here, want to give a congratulations to Shane. He has been guiding and working at, Sam Rayburn past year or so, but he just got a new job, just got hired. He will now be the product manager at 6 Sense Fishing starting next week. So congratulations, Shane, man. I know you're going to do great things there with those guys.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited to be a part of that team. I mean, I've known Casey for a long time, and just been impressive to watch them grow and continue to grow, and just excited and honored to be a part of the team over there.
Good deal. Shane, we appreciate you, man, and best of luck in 2025. Hope you have a great year, and hopefully, of course, if you win, we're going to have you back on with us. So, but anyway, just want to wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on your new job, and exciting times for Shane Campbell right now.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Shane. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Shane Campbell, Rayburn Pro, and when we return, we got more. We got lake levels. We got events coming up for the month of January, and there's several we're going to talk about, and we've got plenty more to come. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We'll be right back.
The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local fishing guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guide for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. 2 locations to serve you in both Nacogdoches and Bravos, Texas. Or give him a call at 936-205-4467. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. This segment presented by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, our newest sponsor, and Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. Kevin, what happens if you mention Tackle Talk Live?
You get $500 off the purchase of any new or used boat, or $50 off your service ticket. All you have to do is make sure to mention, I heard about it on Tackle Talk Live. So, guys, go by, see, they've got boat show season's coming up. Big boat show in February down Lake Charles. Power Implements will be there. Go by, mention Tackle Talk Live, get $500 off that purchase.
And speaking of boat shows, there's a boat show in Shreveport, not this coming weekend, but the next weekend at the Shreveport Convention Center. Raymond Kidd with the boat shop told me to mention that if I would on the program. And so letting everybody know. Now, they haven't had a boat show in a couple of years, Kev. They kind of broke the tie.
That's been gone, right?
Yeah, it has been gone. And they've got 6 of the top RV best boat dealers in the Arklatex region going to be at that boat show. And looking forward to, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a 3-day event. And but it's downtown. It's a convention center where it used to be years ago. And but anyhow, all right. Upcoming tournaments. Kevin, BFL Cowboy Division, we've already kind of alluded about that. It's this coming weekend out of Humphreys Pavilion. Then also next weekend on January the 12th, which I believe is Sunday, Outlaw Outdoors Team Tournament #1 out of Humphrey Pavilion as well.
Yeah, and that's Sunday, Steve, because the 11th, you have the Fishers of Men on the 11th and the SETX High School. You know, that's the big one over there that has the 300-400 teams. It's Saturday. So the Outlaw Team Series #1 will be on Sunday, the 12th.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the Fishers Man. I forgot to put it on my list. I need to get their schedule and make sure I keep up with that. Bass Champs, January 18th, first term of the year for Bass Champs. So it'll be on Rayburn, once again out of Humphrey Pavilion.
And that same weekend, Steve, the BFL is on Toledo Bend.
You're exactly right. And that's right there on our sheet right here. Toledo Bend. Kevin, any word on Toledo Bend? How's it looking right now for January?
Catching a lot of fish. I'm hoping to go next weekend, make a trip out. I just haven't been on the water lately, but hoping to make a trip next weekend. I can report back a little bit better. But what I hear is fishing's good. Catching some decent numbers for sure.
And also coming up is the Outlaw Outdoors Bill Lewis Rattle Trap Tournament, January 19th. Once again on Sam Rayburn. Kevin, are we just beating Rayburn to death? I mean, it's January, and every weekend there's a tournament on Rayburn, and more than one. I'm just like,
this is every week. I mean, again, you go back. We've been doing this 6 years. You go back and look at the very first year we did this, and this is how it was. This is January on Sam Rayburn. It's just the place to be in January. I mean, this is every year. Having that many boats on the water will have an effect on the lake, but Rayburn's always held it. It's always spit out big numbers this time of year. I don't think there's an issue there. And by what I'm hearing, as Shane has alluded to, it's fishing really well right now.
Yeah.
And there's several different ways to catch them. Everybody's not going to be going down the bank. Everybody's not going to be offshore. So I think that really helps. And that's the one really good thing about Rayburn. You can go shallow, you can go deep, you can do whatever you want to do. You just got to find the right group.
Right.
But, it is. I mean, it's every weekend, January 23rd to the 25th, the Toyota Series tournament's over there. And Steve, we haven't even discussed, and I meant to ask Shane, but he was going to fish, but the BASS Open is next month, February 13th through the 15th. So those guys will go off limits because, Opens change now. They have a 30-day off limits or before practice. They'll be going off limits. Not this weekend, maybe next weekend, maybe.
Yeah. After 10th, Sunday, probably of next week.
10th through the 12th, somewhere right in there, they'll be off limits. So chance to see some of those guys, I would imagine, in the BFL over here this coming weekend, just because they're going to be here. So you might see a couple of those guys jump in the BFL, some of those open guys. So, it's a hot time of year on Rayburn. It can handle it. It'll be fine. There's going to be a lot of fish caught. But it's going to be interesting, Steve, to see this weekend what wins it. I think it probably will end up being won by scoping, but when I'm telling you, Steve, 100% is hero or zero. That is the definition of scoping, is hero or zero. It's getting tougher and tougher to do out there just because, like Shane said, everybody's running around chasing fish with sonars now, and they're getting a little used to it.
Yeah, Kevin, your advice, I gave somebody some advice not too long ago. They fish co-angler side, and they asked me, said, man, what would you do if you drew a boater or a pro that's scoping all day? What would you do out of the back of the boat? And I said, probably the most effective thing that I could think of, there's two, either drag a rig or drop shot.
Well, it's just according, Steve, to where they're doing it at, because you can scope in so many different areas of water. But 100%, if they're up trying to scope drains in that 12 to 20 foot range, I'm bombing an A rig. An A rig. If you throw an A rig, I'm bombing a Carolina rig, a drop shot, or a jerk bait. Something, and kind of hoping to get lucky right there. Let's just be honest. It really depends on where they're scoping at. Now, if they're out there in that 20 to 30 foot of water, there's not much more you can do other than just bombing a jerk bait and throwing a little minnow like they're doing, and hopes that you're getting lucky and throwing in front of a fish that they didn't see, or a fish that's swimming by. There's just you're just kind of hoping and praying at that point.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. All right, Kevin, you got anything? I'm gonna go tip of the week right now if you don't have anything else.
No, I think that's going to kind of finish me up. I am going to start. And guys, look, first week back, we got a couple of things we got to edit. I know the beginning of the show still says I'm Gill Fishing Accounts Manager. We got some edits that we'll have fixed coming up. First week back, we're kind of getting everything fixed here. I do want to start bringing up some Shimano products, Jackal products that I rep, just that you guys want to make sure you keep out for, some recommendations I have for some of those products. So I will start doing that on some weekly shows as well.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Always interested in new product. All right, tip of the week. This is one thing that as anglers gets overlooked a lot, and talking to my boat mechanic and with the dealer that I deal with, and I'm sure that Implements Marine will echo, Power Implements Marine will echo the same advice. Guys, this time of year, with temperatures fluctuating, we're in the 70s one day, we're down in the 30s the next. That's an opportunity for moisture buildup in your gas tank on your boat. You want to try to avoid that. How do I avoid that? Do I need to prevent it? Well, a good biobore, or not a biobore, don't have to be biobore, a good fuel additive ethanol buster is really good, but the best way to prevent it is a full gas tank. When you come off the water after a tournament, and I know that's the last thing we think of, we're ready to go home. We ain't worried about how much gas is on our boat because we're through, and we're just going to let it sit up. Well, that half empty gas tank sitting in your garage or under your carport is, in those temperature fluctuations, moisture is building up in that gas tank, and it can really mess you up and can be costly repairs down the road. And it is preventable simply by, when you get back home, get back to your hometown, pull into the gas station there, top off your tank, put your boat in storage. You ain't got nothing to worry about then. It's just a great way. It's a good preventative measure and a great way to make sure you don't run into any moisture issues with your gas in the tank. So that's my advice. That's a tip that I thought of last night, and I was trying to think of something really good for right now, and that's something that you really need to know at this time.
Agreed, 100%.
Lake levels. Kev, give us Toledo Bend. What are you showing there?
Wait a minute. I done closed it out.
All right, here, I'll do Toledo, and you come back with Rayburn. Toledo Bend, 172 is pool. 169.69 is where it's at right now. That's a difference of 2.32 feet low. 10-day gain of 1.39 feet. It came up quite a bit in the last 10 days with all the rain. 24-hour gain, 24.24 inches. And then, Kevin, you got Sam Rayburn.
Sam Rayburn is at 163.04 feet, a difference of 1.36 feet. 10-day gain of 10.68 inches. An inch a day, Steve. It's coming. Yeah. It's coming pretty quick. Yeah. 24-hour gain of 2.64 inches. So, yeah, I mean, there's a chance it's going to get on up there in the next week or so.
Yeah, Lake of the Pines, 230 is where it's at right now. 230.16 feet. 230 is full, 230.16 feet, and that's a difference of 1.92 inches actually above pool. 10-day game, 1.19 feet, 24-hour game, 1.2 inches. So Lake of the Pines is full. And so if you're looking for, if that makes a difference with you, whether you go to Lake of the Pines or not, head on over there. There are some stuff coming up at Lake of the Pines. I know in February, January is probably some stuff I'm not aware of yet, but we'll research that and let you know whatever we find out is coming up at Lake of the Pines. Kevin, what else you got? That's it?
That's it for us, Steve. Good luck to everybody fishing the BFL this weekend. Of course, we'll kind of look and see, who we need to get on for next week, whether it be the winner or something else happens this weekend. I know there's a high school event, I believe, this weekend as well over there. I don't know exactly which one, but there's a high school event going on over there. So good luck to everybody fishing, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, and probably one thing we're going to put on our Facebook page is I may ask the question of you guys fishing the BFL. Give us your thoughts on how it went, what it was like. Was there a problem with co-anglers? Get us some feedback. Give us kind of a lake report how the tournament went for y'all at Sam Rayburn with the first BFL.
And Steve, this is going to kind of we're going to see the turnout this weekend. I'm interested. That's the number one thing I'm looking to see. I want to see how many show up to fish this weekend. I think that's going to kind of set the precedent for the tournaments the rest of this spring or winter spring. Kind of seeing how BFL goes this weekend as far as turnout. Just I'm a little nervous. I hope it's a good turnout. We've the last couple of years we've seen the decline in tournament entries, and I hope that it's on its way back up this year. I'm hoping anyway. Yeah.
I think we'll see the impacts of some decisions that were made, Kevin, in the offseason with regards to forward-facing sonar. That's some of the big decisions that were made were based off of that. Let's see how that works out. And again, folks, and I've said this all along, get ready in 2026 because it may be a whole different ball game. They may go back to what they were doing before. So, this is a trial by error here, trial by fire.
And Steve, from everything from the BFL level all the way up to the pro level, I mean, you got the MPFLs this year that has banned forward-facing sonar. MLF put restriction on it, and Bass has not really done a whole lot. So, I mean, it's a trial error. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes for the MPFL banning. Yeah. We don't need to get on our soapbox right now about this. It's what all of last year everybody was talking about was forward-facing sonar. But but looking at the tournament, the tournament turnout, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Yep. All right. We appreciate tuning us in. Again, spread the word. We're back. And each week, Kevin and I will be back giving you up-to-date reports as to what's going on, especially on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, as well as Lake of the Pines. And so check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, however you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page, and Kevin will make sure he sends you a detailed packet For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.